Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Santana, the chairman of the I4CP CDO board. I'm here to talk to you today about how to take your ERGs, or as some call them BRGs, and turn them into leadership development engines. In 2014, Deloitte University Press published the survey results of multiple global organizations. And that survey informed us that 86% of the companies participating in that research rated having more effective leaders at all levels of the organization as their number one business issue. According to that same study, participating organizations invested about 14 billion US dollars toward their leadership development, yet only 8% of them, despite all this focus and investment, felt they had a good leadership development process. That low percentage represents a huge gap in an area where companies are spending a lot of money and focusing a lot of energy. There is, however, a bright ray of hope. This ray of hope comes from our company's employee resource groups, ERGs. In 2015, a study that was led by the I4CP CDO board revealed that organizations that are the highest performers relative to revenue, profitability, market share, customer satisfaction, and employee satisfaction in their industries were outpacing lesser performing firms in leveraging their ERGs to develop leaders. And these firms were getting ahead by using their ERGs to provide a platform for really powerful experiential learning that helped to build leaders. Now, earlier this month, I had the pleasure of moderating a panel of distinguished diversity and learning and development leaders at the Elevate ERG Summit in San Diego. And here we explored just how companies were employing their ERGs as part of their leadership development solution. So here's my summary of the 5-step approach that emerged from that discussion of the various activities that these organizations were engaging in. So the first thing was they identified leadership skills needed by the people being targeted for development. And one way to do that is to have the CDO or someone from the Office of Diversity and Inclusion or an ERG executive sponsor or someone else just meet with the supervisor of the person that's being targeted for development. And basically the purpose of that meeting is to discuss the opportunities for learning various skills such as presenting, project management, influencing, and other skills that you can learn and practice in an ERG to the manager. So introduce that to the manager. And then find out from the manager, from that person's supervisor, what are some specific areas of development that they feel that this person needs in order to be more effective in their job. So if I were developing a new ERG, let's say chair named Christine, my first step would be to meet with Christine's supervisor and talk about the opportunities for learning a variety of leadership skills through the ERG, and then ask Christine's supervisor what she thinks would be the most valuable thing for Christine to learn. So let's say in that meeting, for the sake of continuing with one example, that the supervisor tells me that the most important thing for Christine to learn is influencing skills, right? So the next thing that I would do then is I would let Christine, the learner, observe the target skill or skills in action by someone who does them well. The goal here is to connect the learner to a sponsor or a member of the group who's considered to be really effective in that particular area, and let Christine see what good execution looks like. So continuing with my example, let's say I know somebody named Mary who's an ERG leader at another group, and she's a recognized influencer. Mary is currently working on a cross-ERG project for a big event in which he has to influence a lot of the other ERG leaders to work together. So this is a good opportunity for Christine to start out by observing the way Mary operates. So assuming that Mary is okay with the arrangement after I speak to her first, I'd make the introductions and then move on to the next step. Step 3 then. So subsequently, while Christine or this person is being developed and learning, they would begin to role play the skill, right? So the next thing is to role play the skill. And the overall thinking here is that this role playing can be accomplished by giving that learner a larger position in terms of actually working on that particular task, right? So that they can actually exercise the targeted skill. So in this particular case, after some adequate time observing Mary, Christine will be asked by Mary to begin playing a bigger role in influencing the other ERG leaders to support the cross ERG project. 4, while that's going on, while the role play is going on, it's also an opportunity to provide that learner with some performance feedback. So what we want to do is, let's say, for example, have the person who's perhaps helping the learner to learn the skill start giving them feedback to improve how they perform. So in this particular case with Christine and Mary, Christine would start taking more of the tasks of actually influencing and bringing this project together, and Mary would begin to give Christine performance feedback. Finally, 5. In 5, what we want to do is we want to build a bridge that lets the person who's learning take those newly acquired skills back into their workplace. So in this final step, the CDO or the person from the Office of Diversity or the sponsor, or whoever it was that made the initial outreach to the supervisor, would go back to that supervisor and talk about how Christine did in terms of learning some of these new skills and what she's acquired, and would then begin to explore with that supervisor how those skills can now be put to work in areas of Christine's day job, right? So in this particular case, again, following with the example of Christine, they would look together, the supervisor and this person, at a project that maybe the supervisor had in mind, and Christine could then begin to use those skills in that particular project, thereby bridging them from that experiential lab where she learned them back into the world of her day-to-day work. And perhaps Mary could still be engaged to some degree in helping Christine by continuing to be her coach maybe for the first month or two as she's working on this project in her department, so that she has that support in terms of bridging back. And this is a truly powerful approach because it basically leverages an existing resource, and it provides an opportunity using that resource, the ERG, for people to go through those steps of first targeting, observing, and then actually role-playing, getting performance feedback, and finally bridging back. So that's it for now. To learn more about the I4CP CDO board, just give us a call on the number that's going to appear on your screen here now. And thanks again for tuning in. And I look forward to connecting with you again sometime in the future. Goodbye.